Oh, you already know what time it is, folks. It's Canelo Alvarez Fight Week, the trilogy, the rubber match. Is it the end of the feud? We all hope so. He's fighting Gennady Golovkin for the third time out there at the T-Mobile Arenas in Las Vegas. Let's talk about it.
I hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, fam? It's Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst, back at you with the what? The real. I love that. I swear like I'm doing something with that. Anyways, we've got the trilogy fight. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, T-Mobile Arena this weekend in Las Vegas. Whether or not the haters want to admit it or not, Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. And we're going to talk about this trilogy fight. We got Canelo Alvarez and Triple G having their trilogy fight. Not many rivalries in boxing earn legendary trilogy status. I mean, we just recently had Deontay Wilder and, of course, Tyson Fury. Prior to that, we had guys like Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez. They had 4 fights. We had Vasquez versus Marquez, Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales. You had Muhammad Ali and Smoking Joe Frazier. We love us some trilogies. And this trilogy is no exception to that rule. There's a lot of people that are mad at the idea of Canelo fighting Triple G. I don't really know why. Triple G, you know, there are a lot of people who are mad at Triple G. No, not mad at Triple G. There's a lot of people out there that are mad at Canelo for fighting Triple G a third time. As if Triple G isn't still a knockout machine and a unified middleweight champion. Find me someone at middleweight to super middleweight that would be a better fight with Canelo than Triple G. And I'm not talking about fanboying on somebody that's been fighting like cab drivers this far in their career. I'm talking about find me a name from 160 to 168 nearly as qualified as Triple G to give us an entertaining fight with Canelo Alvarez. I'll wait. You won't find one. You're welcome to put something in the comment section. Do whatever you want. You know, it is what it is. I don't understand fanboys. I don't understand haters. Y'all can do what you want. Canelo's the face of boxing. Give that man his flowers. When Floyd Mayweather was the face of boxing, I was giving him his flowers. When Oscar De La Hoya was the face of boxing, I was giving him his flowers. Anyways, the trilogy fight is great for boxing. Very few fighters reach outside of boxing into the mainstream world and into pop culture like Triple G and Canelo. Specifically Canelo, even though Triple G is his own star in his own right. Let's talk about their rivalry to begin with. I want to go all the way back. Oh, we're going all the way back on this one. This is going to be an in-depth review on Triple G versus Canelo. That first fight, September 2017. They had it out there in Paradise, Nevada. We all know how that went. Let me break down the CompuBox stats numbers on that one. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull these up. First off, let's lay some historical background on that. So, Canelo Alvarez and Triple G had that first fight in 2017. Leading up to it, Triple G was on a tear. He had beat David Lemieux, Dominic Wade. He busted Kell Brook's eye socket, beat Danny Jacobs. And then you had Canelo Alvarez, who had that huge All-Mexico fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Before that, he beat Liam Smith and knocked out Amir Khan and even beat Miguel Cotto. They were both on a tear leading up to that first fight. It was legendary. Now, the fight itself, I think we all remember, you know, for those of us who don't see it with distorted lenses, we all saw the fight kind of pretty much the same way. Now, that first fight between Canelo and Triple G was very competitive. It was a draw. In the end, I think most folks in the boxing world saw it as kind of a fight that should have got the nod for Triple G. Now, hear me out. I know people don't want to agree with me on that one or some... I know Canelo... hold on. Let me word this correctly before I piss some people off. I know hardcore Canelo fans have a hard time admitting it, but in general, I think it's safe to say, despite what hardcore Canelo fans want to say, I think in general, most boxing fans who saw that first fight between Canelo and Triple G would agree that Triple G should have probably got the nod in that. He threw more punches, he landed more punches overall, and he kind of controlled the pace of the fight. But it was a draw. It is what it is. It's history at this point. Now, let's talk about those CompuBox stats numbers from that first fight between Canelo and Triple G. Overall, in total punches, Canelo threw 505. Triple G threw 703. The ones they landed, Canelo landed 169 total. Golovkin landed 218 punches. Now, they made it a draw. It is what it is, folks. But as far as who threw the most and who landed the most, overall, it was Triple G. Don't kill the messenger. Now, then we had the issue with the clenbuterol that, kind of postponed the rematch because they wanted the immediate rematch. It was such a wild success. I don't know what they sold in pay-per-view numbers, but it was nuts. It was more than 1 million for sure. And the second fight was more than 1 million. I don't know what they're going to do on this third fight, but whatever's clever. I'm not even sure if it is pay-per-view, to be honest. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I got the sound coming. I'm trying to find out. The audio came in on this. So, is it Triple G? Is it where to watch it? Oh, it'll stream on DAZN. Oh, it's got to be pay-per-view. Pooh. Anyways, it's on DAZN pay-per-view. Go figure. They got to pay those guys their exorbitant price tags, So, they had the first fight in 2017, right? The second fight happened roughly a year later, 2018. Probably would have happened sooner, but Canelo Alvarez had the great clenbuterol conspiracy thing. He was suspended for 6 months, lost millions of dollars. It is what it is. He paid the price for his sins. Y'all can stay mad about the clenbuterol thing. I'm moving on. I'm not mad at Holyfield. I'm not mad at Roy Jones Jr. I'm not mad at Sugar Shane Mosley. I don't care. It happened. It happened. We moving on. For those of you who don't understand how I approach looking at boxing, I'm not going to virtue signal when it comes to boxing. I want to see violence, massive amounts of it, played out in a ring, in that squared circle, with the gentleman's rules of the Queensberry, with the Queensberry rules of boxing. But if I'm going to demand these fighters put themselves through extraordinary violence for my entertainment, I'm not going to virtue signal. He got popped for clenbuterol. He got suspended. He paid the fines. I don't know what else everybody wants. A lifetime ban, I guess. I don't know, man. That's just beyond me. But now the second fight was a whole different fight. It was a whole different fight. Let me get the CompuBox stats on this one. So when Canelo and Triple G fought in that second fight, it was a much different fight. Now, where Triple G owned the center of the ring in that first fight, in that second fight, it was Canelo that pretty much was the ring general that held down the center of the ring and had Golovkin pretty much fighting on that back foot for good portions of that fight. Now, let's get into the CompuBot stats for that second fight. So, Canelo and Triple G had that second fight 1 year after they had their first fight, and it was almost the same story as the first fight. Now, the total punches thrown in that second fight by Canelo Alvarez, 622. By Triple G, 879. What connected for Canelo, 202. What connected for Golovkin was 234. Now, a lot of those punches by Golovkin were jabs, and he's probably the best jabber in the game, but Canelo did control the center of the ring, did show more ring generalship, and pretty much brought the Mexican style to Triple G, and I agree with the decision. I think it was fair for it to go to Canelo. A lot of people think it should have been a draw. I think Canelo getting the decision was the right decision. Now, we finally got this third fight coming up. Now, mind you, in that first fight, Triple G was like 35. Now, age is definitely a factor that's going to play against Triple G in this third fight. When he made his introduction to the American audiences, I think he was like already about 30. By the time he had that first fight with Canelo, he was already 35. If I'm not mistaken, probably 36 years old. And Canelo's 8 years younger than he is. So now we're at the third fight. Triple G is a ripe old age of 40 years old. Canelo is a young, spry 32 years old. And regardless of Triple G being 40 years old, he is still a force of nature. Has he lost a half a step? Yes. But the power is the last thing to go. And in his recent title unification fight with Ryota Murata, he knocked him out. So, the power's still there. The skills are still there. And as far as we've seen thus far in Canelo's career, there really is nobody that has given him a good fight, really since Floyd Mayweather Jr., outside of Gennady Golovkin. Oh, and Dimitri Bivol, who beat him. That's a whole different story, though. We're not going to talk about Dimitri Bivol. Anyways, Canelo Alvarez is clearly evolved since that second fight. Triple G has clearly deteriorated a bit since that second fight. Will that be a factor leading up into this third fight? Now, There's a lot of boxing fans out there that are being hypercritical about Triple G being 40 years old, as if Juan Manuel Marquez didn't knock out Manny Pacquiao at 40 years old, as if George Foreman didn't beat Michael Moore when he was over the age of 40 years old, as if Bernard Hopkins didn't have that awesome tear all throughout his 40s where he was beating guys like Kelly Pavlik and John Pascal in his 40s. So, you know, the possibility is still very well there that Triple G could pull off an upset. And do I think he's going to do it? No. I think Canelo is clearly evolved. He is better with his shot selection. He throws less punches. Triple G is still the best jab in the game. With the exception of a small handful of fighters, like save maybe guys like Errol Spence and Dimitri Bivol, I would go so far as to say Triple G has one of the best jabs, if not the best jab in boxing. Statistically, he really does. Now, going to this third fight, the jab is going to be his saving grace. If he can use that jab to disrupt Canelo's rhythm the same way Dimitri Bivol did it. Now, the thing with Dimitri Bivol was he has a great educated jab, but he has footwork to go along with that jab. Triple G is not really a footwork dude. Now, he's not a slouch on the feet, but he's also 40 years old, and he was never really a mover. He's there in front of you to be hit because he wants to plant his weight into his feet and land those critical shots to knock you out, of which I believe Triple G has still got something like a 89% knockout to win ratio, so he's still a formidable force of nature when it comes to landing those power shots. I don't know if he's going to have enough to stop Canelo because, you know, the answer to strong power punchers is effective counterpunching. And we all know Canelo is the man when it comes to effective counterpunching. The body is probably going to be Canelo Alvarez's key to beating Triple G. We all know that Canelo Alvarez has some of the most devastating body punches in the game. And visually, it is pretty apparent that Gennady Golovkin does not like body shots. You know what? Nobody likes getting hit to the body, especially not when it's from Canelo Alvarez. So I might even be inclined to lean towards a stoppage by the body shot, assuming he breaks a rib. He would have to break the rib. I don't think Triple G is just going to stop and take a 10 count, no matter how much pain or internal bleeding he's going through. I think he's going to have to break a rib. But I could see this fight easily going the distance. I really can. And what happens after this fight goes the distance? I don't see a situation where Canelo doesn't win this fight unless somehow he just gets cracked in a crazy shot. You know, the key for Canelo is going to be to use his youth and press the cardio advantage that he has being at his age. Now, the one thing we do have to take into account was that Canelo just went up to light heavyweight and lost to Dimitri Bivol, which could have taken a shock to his confidence, but he also has to cut back down to 168 pounds. Now, Canelo Alvarez has always been the smaller guy against the bigger guys. This time, Canelo Alvarez is going to be the bigger guy. This time, Gennady Golovkin is going to be the smaller guy. So it's going to be an interesting mix of styles to see how they react to being different physical forces in this fight as opposed to what they have been in their previous matches. Regardless, I don't see how Triple G can win this. I believe it's going to be a very, very entertaining scrap. When it comes to Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G III, I think Canelo Alvarez is going to win by a wide decision, if not stoppage. But I definitely see at the very least a decision. I do see Canelo Alvarez winning. How do you folks see this fight possibly playing out this Saturday? Is it going to be Triple G pulling off the upset, beating Father Time? Or is it going to be like what we expect, Canelo Alvarez winning? Let me know in the comment section what you think. Hit like if you haven't already done so. Are you not already following my page? Anyways, folks, that's going to be it for this video. This is Hot Boxing Minute, the future of boxing analysis on TikTok and YouTube. Peace.